Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berusaha Puan Hajah Marfuatun binti SEKTOR, Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Petaling Utama. Yang berusaha Puan Azlina binti Husin, Timbalan Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah, Sektor Perancangan, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Petaling Utama. Yang berusaha Puan Nurin binti Zakaria, Timbalan Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah, Sektor Pembelajaran, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Petaling Utama. Yang berusaha Tuan Muhammad Kamal Azizi bin Abdul Aziz, Timbalan Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah, Sektor Pengurusan Sekolah, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Petaling Utama. Yang berusaha Puan Marhani binti M. Hanif, Timbalan Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah, Sektor Pembangunan Murid, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Petaling Utama. SIP+, SIC+, para pegawai dan para pengetua penolakanan sekolah-sekolah Kolej Tingkatan 6 Daerah Petaling Utama. Dan juga para hadirin sekalian, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera, salam Jumaat. Baik, terima kasih kepada semua yang telah pun berada dalam talian. Dan pada petang ini, alhamdulillah kita bersiaran sekali lagi untuk dalam siri Pecutan Stpm tahun 2020 peringkat daerah Petaling Utama. Baik, diharapkan semua pelajar-pelajar yang berada di dalam talian kita telah pun makan tengah hari, okey, telah pun mendapat rehat yang secukupnya, kerana pada pagi tadi kita telah bersiaran untuk 2 slot, okey. Kita ada ekonomi dan juga kita ada mata pelajaran perniagaan untuk tingkatan 6. So, jadi untuk yang ketiga pada petang ini, kita akan ada satu lagi slot yang dikira sebagai satu subjek ataupun satu mata pelajaran yang cukup tough, okay, ataupun cukup kata apa, kesukarannya, okay. Tahap kesukarannya agak berbeza jika nak dibandingkan dengan mata pelajaran yang lain. So, jadi pada hari ini kita ingin menjemput seorang lagi penceramah kita yang hebat juga, okay. Pada saya hebat juga kerana cikgu ini telah pun mempunyai pengalaman yang luas dalam mata pelajaran biologi. Jadi sebelum kita pergi kepada slot beliau, izinkan saya untuk memperkenalkan serba sedikit tentang latar belakang Cikgu Molly, okay, ataupun lebih dikenal sebagai Cikgu Molly lah. Baik, nama penuh Cikgu Molly ialah Cikgu Ten Molly, anak perempuan Syurmugem, yang juga dari Kolej Tingkatan 6 Petaling Jaya kita undang. Maksudnya ketiga-tiga penceramah kita pada hari ini datang dari sekolah yang sama, iaitu Kolej Tingkatan 6 Petaling Jaya. Jadi berbekalkan pengalaman selama 20 tahun dalam mata pelajaran biologi, jadi kita harap Cikgu Molly dapat mempersembahkan satu persembahan ataupun satu perkongsian yang cukup bagus untuk pelajar-pelajar kita pada petang ini kongsikan. Okay, saya fikir antara pengalaman, antara pencapaian yang terbaik yang pernah Cikgu Molly capai ialah beliau memaklumkan kepada saya tadi mempunyai seorang pelajar yang cemerlang dalam aliran sains, dan pelajar ini merupakan pelajar cemerlang untuk seluruh Malaysia bagi tahun 2019. Nanti Cikgu Molly akan perbetulkan jika saya tersilap. Cikgu Molly akan perbetulkanlah. Dan juga Cikgu Molly juga mempunyai pencapaian peratus lulus pelajarnya untuk mata pelajaran biologi ni sebanyak 95%. Ini adalah dikira untuk SEM 2 yang lepas, iaitu dalam musim MCO. Jadi ini adalah antara pencapaian yang bagus yang memberangsangkan untuk Cikgu Molly dan juga pelajar-pelajar. Baiklah, tidak lupa juga saya ingin ucapkan terima kasih kepada Tuan Pengetua Kolej Tingkatan 6 PJ, iaitu Tuan Haji Gumiat bin Kamdi, dan juga penolong kanannya iaitu Puan Tam Sutiam, kerana memberi keizinan kepada pihak PBD untuk mengundang Cikgu Molly bersama-sama dengan PBD Petaling Utama untuk bersiaran pada petang ini. Jadi saya fikir tanpa melengahkan masa, suka untuk saya ingin menjemput Cikgu Molly untuk meneruskan slot ini. Jadi dengan segala hormatnya, silakan Cikgu Molly.
Terima kasih Cikgu Zaini.
Sama-sama.
Hi students, I'm Cikgu Molly from College Tingkatan 6, Petaling Jaya. For this session, I would like to focus on type of STPM biology essay questions. Okay, this is the table of contents which I'm going to present today. I'm going to start with introduction, format of essay questions, okay, and the second agenda going to be different type of essay questions. Third agenda, answering technique for each type of essay questions. And lastly, identifying common mistakes in essay questions. Okay, for introduction, format of essay questions. So students might be wondering why my focus today is regarding essay questions. Okay, so the students who join the YouTube live now might be sitting for P1 exam or P3. Okay, the format is the same whether the students are sitting for P1 or P2 or P3, whereby all the bio papers, you have section A comprises of 15 objective questions, and the marks allocated for section A will be 15 marks. And then section B, students have to answer 2 structure questions, and total marks going to be 15 marks. Finally comes the section C. This is the most toughest part, 2 essay questions. Okay, students have to choose 2 essay questions from 3 questions, and the total marks are 30 marks. So what you can see from this situation is the essay question itself, okay, the weightage is 50% from the total marks for the paper. So that is my whole idea. I'm sharing this session, okay, so that students can benefit, okay, from me. Now, the format of essay question, okay. So there will be 3 essay questions, and candidate must choose 2 questions to answer. Okay, and each essay questions are divided into smaller subunit. What it mean by smaller subunit? It's an example. Okay, this is an essay question, and total marks here 2 plus 4 plus 9 going to be 15 marks. Okay, and it has A, section A, followed by A1, A2, and then section B. So this is the meaning of the essay questions. You have sections or subunits. But the problem here is if the students state the example wrongly for section A, okay, the marks will be affected for section A2. So if the A1 is wrong, technically A2 also going to be wrong. Okay, and question B is independent on its own. This is one example of essay question. Okay, as we know, total marks going to be 30 marks, and each question 15 marks. Okay, so 50% of the overall marks comes from essay. This makes it very challenging for STPM students to score A, A minus or B plus. Okay, so another one more information is students may write their answers either in English or Bahasa Melayu, which means in one sentence, okay, the students should write everything in English or everything in Bahasa Melayu. They're not supposed to mix English with Bahasa Melayu, okay? So as we know, the current students now, some students in SPM level, they are learning biology in Bahasa Melayu. This is not going to be a big problem when they come to Form 6 as long as they practice writing essay. Okay, they keep on practice and reading, practice writing essay shouldn't be a problem. Okay, another one more important note that the students supposed to know is what happens if students answer all 3 questions. Okay, in section C, there are 3 questions, right? What will happen if the students answer all 3 essay questions? So there will be instruction written on section C. Okay, if students answer more than 2 essay questions, only the first 2 questions will be marked by the marker. So students, please take note and choose your 2 essay questions wisely. Okay. Now, this is the main slide of my presentation today. Okay, so in order for any students to answer essay to the best according to the format, according to the requirement, there are keywords in essay questions. They must be get familiarized with. For my session today, I only limiting to 7 keywords. There are actually more, okay? For this session, we are starting with something simple, starting from define, distinguish or differentiate, name, state, label diagram, describe, explain. Okay, based on these 7 keywords, okay, very highly common for STPM essay questions. If you ask me, describe. Okay, describe are very common based on the syllabus. Okay, explain also very common, differences very common. Okay, these are the common. So I'm going to go through with you now each keyword and how to go about writing essay. Okay, the first keyword is define. Another way the question, okay, will emphasize on define is what is meant by. And normally the marks allocated for define is 1 or 2 marks. So which means a very small percentage of marks, okay? And a sample question, as you can see here, define carrying capacity. And how many mark is given? 1 mark. Sample answer, carrying capacity, okay, K, symbol is K, uppercase K, is the maximum number of individuals that the environment can support and sustain. Dear students, why I underline carrying capacity? The reason I underline carrying capacity to emphasize to you when you want to define any word or a process or a terminology, you have to start with a particular word. Such an example in this question, define carrying capacity. So in your sample answer, you should start with carrying capacity. That is the right way of answering. Let's see if the question is define mutation. So your answer should start with mutation is. I hope I'm clear with this. Let us move on to the second keyword. This is a student's favorite question. Favorite question means they will get happy and excited when they notice the exam paper have an essay question with the keyword differentiate. Okay? Differentiate, or another term that we can replace is distinguish. It brings the same meaning. Okay, for differentiate or distinguish, the marks given based on information, which I'm going to show you by example, either 1 or 0. Okay, there are 2 ways of answering the question which is differentiate. And students prefer table form. Why is that so? From SPM, from PD3, okay, we are very comfortable with table form. We're finding it very easy to fill in the blanks. So table form, okay, first way of answering with 2 columns. Another one more way of answering is, okay, by writing complete sentences. Okay, writing complete sentences by distinguishing the aspect using connector such as while or but. Okay, please take note. Each aspect that you want to differentiate should be explained clearly with complete sentences. Complete is the problem now. Okay, so a typical example is this for P1 students. If you can see here, the questions goes like this. Explain is one keyword. The differences, second keyword. Okay, between DNA and RNA. Okay, So the moment the students saw the word differences, DNA and RNA, they feel very excited and very happy because it's an easy question. Okay, that's what they think. But they forgot that, okay, there is another keyword here, explain. It's not only differences. You have to explain the differences here. This makes them to lose marks. Okay, so I am going back to this slide to show you sometimes the keywords are combined, which means distinguish or differences together with explain. It's not only you able to know the differences, but you must able to explain the differences. That is the challenge, okay? So now, I'm just going to give you one example. No need to go through everything because you know this. Okay, as I told you, this is the way to answer in table form with 2 columns. So you label this side DNA and this side RNA. Okay, so this side aspect should be tally with this side aspect. So the aspect, my first aspect is the pentose sugar present in DNA and the pentose sugar present in RNA. Okay, so if this side, my explanation is correct for the pentose sugar and this side, my explanation is correct for RNA pentose sugar, then only you will be getting 1 mark. Okay, let's say for DNA, your description is correct, but for RNA, your explanation is wrong. What you're going to get it? 0. This is the meaning, the marks goes parallelly. Okay, sample answer which I wrote here. Okay, this is the meaning of complete sentences. Complete sentences. Explained clearly with complete sentences. Okay, the first example, the 5 carbon. Okay, talking about carbon, okay, this is a science subject, students. Okay, science subject, carbon should be written in uppercase letter, not in a lowercase. Technically, if you're writing in the lowercase letter, it is wrong. Okay, the 5 carbon pentose sugar, okay, present in the nucleotide is a deoxyribose. Okay, this is talking about the sugar. Okay, so explaining the sugar. Why is the explanation for the sugar? Explanation is with its carbon 2 attached to hydrogen atom. That is the explaining the differences regarding about the pentose sugar. Same goes to RNA. Okay, so the 5 carbon pentose sugar present in the nucleotide is a ribose. All the students knows about it. But what makes them incomplete is they forgot to explain about the pentose sugar, whereby with its carbon 2 attached to hydroxyl group. So this word will be missing. That is the problem with the student, something like this. Okay, so students will try to write something like this for DNA, whereby they will start with the 5 carbon pentose sugar present in the nucleotide is a deoxyribose. Okay, and in RNA, the 5 carbon pentose sugar present in the nucleotide is a ribose, whereby they are talking about the differences. Yes, correct. Okay, they're talking the sugar here is deoxyribose and the pentose sugar is ribose, but technically they are not explaining. This is where it goes wrong. Okay, second example. Okay, all the students knows RNA is a much shorter length of polynucleotide, whereas DNA is a much longer length of double-stranded polynucleotide. Okay, so not more than a few thousand nucleotides. Correct? This is the explanation. Not more than a few thousands of nucleotides, whereby it will be missing in students' answer. Another example. All the students know DNA comprises of 2 long polynucleotide strands. All students know RNA comprises of a shorter single polynucleotide strand. But are they explaining the differences? No. Okay, whereby the students are not explaining how the two long polynucleotide strands are bind together. How? Okay, so if you see here, this is the complete answer, explanation, whereby the DNA made up of two polynucleotide chains held together by hydrogen bonds. This is the meaning, explanation, the differences between the nitrogenous bases forming a double helix structure. Okay, students, please watch out. When they want you to explain the differences, you have to clearly explain the facts you are writing. Okay, no means this is going to be your answer and it's going to be no marks because the question is explain the differences. Okay, now another way of writing differences is in sentences. Okay, I'm sure all the students knows about it. And until today, with my pre-3 students, they forgot to write the connector here, which means they forgot to write while or but. Okay, so how to prevent this mistake from happening for exam? Because during exam time, I do understand your anxiety level, okay, the tension, all that cause you to forget all this. So I always will advise my students, whenever you see the keyword differences, what you should do, take your pencil and on top of it, please write while or but to remind your brain, don't forget to use this word. Okay, once this word is missing, the whole sentence you are not comparing, you are not writing the differences. Are you okay? Now, another answers. Okay, students' answer, which is incomplete, is this is one example. Okay, currently P1 students, okay, you've been learning respiration and photosynthesis. Yes or no? Okay, respiration is chapter 5 and photosynthesis is chapter 6. Okay, let's say in essay question, the question says, explain the differences between respiration and photosynthesis. Okay, I put it 2 marks here. Now, look at the answer. Respiration, light is not required. Photosynthesis requires light. Technically, all the students know this is incomplete answer. Very incomplete. Okay, this is probably like a PT3 answer. Why? Why for photosynthesis require light? Explain. Are you explaining? You are not explaining. Okay, so this is the problem here. Please practice. Okay, especially for P1 student, it is a transition state for you from SPM to Stpm. So you have to practice more writing essay. Okay. Now, number 3. This is very simple. The simplest essay question, whereby the keyword is name. So if the keyword is name, straight to the point. Straight to the point means the question says, name 5 classes of enzyme. How many marks? 5 marks. Okay, class, students, please watch out the word classes. Classes is plural. It is not singular. Okay, it's not singular. So what we learn in our book is the 5 classes of enzymes are written in plural. Okay, all the students knows from SPM, when we write enzymes, okay, the prefix at last will be ase. Ase, ase. But there is something special for these 5 classes of enzymes. Okay, we have to write in plural form with a correct spelling. No spelling mistakes. Okay, example, isomerases. Don't forget the S. Ligases. Liases. Hydrolases. And oxidoreductases. Okay, so this is straight to the point. Name 5 classes of enzyme. Okay, make sure no spelling mistake. So that's the reason on this slide, okay, I kept an icon of the pencil. Practice writing the words to prevent spelling mistakes. Okay, this is very simple. Next keyword, number 4, is state. Okay, state means straight to the point. Straight to the point, no explanation, no details. Okay, students? So the question goes like this. State 4 enzymes used in DNA replication for P3 students. Okay, how many marks? 4 marks, which means one enzyme is given 1 mark. Okay, class, you no need to write lengthy sentences like DNA and RNA. Just by writing the name of the enzyme, okay, correctly, you can easily get 4 marks. Okay, example, DNA helicase. And when you're writing DNA, it's supposed to be in uppercase. RNA primase. RNA should be uppercase. Next, DNA polymerase 3. Another common mistake, the Roman letter. Watch out. And the last one, DNA ligase. Okay, so practice writing, so no spelling mistakes. Straight to the point. Okay, now comes keyword number 5. Okay, this is by using labeled diagram. Okay, labeled diagram. Explain the structure of the following plant tissues. Parenchyma, marks given 3 marks. Okay, now in this essay question, there are 2 keywords. Number 1, labeled diagram. Okay, number 2, explain the structure. So explain is another keyword. Okay, class? So if you are looking into an essay question, take some time to look for the keywords and figure out how to go about it. Okay, since there are explain the structure and label drawing, from the total marks 3, only 1 mark will be given for draw and label the diagram. Draw and label, only given 1 mark, and explain the structure, another 2 more marks. Okay, as you can see here, this is the correct drawing and labeling. Okay, and this is an example of the student's work. Cell wall correctly labeled. Plasma membrane correctly labeled. Same goes to the others. So, what makes wrong? Intercellular space. So, the students forgot air space. This makes the whole draw and label 0 mark. Right? See the effort? So much of effort, drawing and labeling, so many labels. With 1 small mistake here, the whole diagram, okay, no marks. Okay, so there are few tips, how to get marks for the label diagram. Okay, your drawing must be technically correct. What it mean by your drawing supposed to be technically correct? Okay, if you see here, there are 3 cells, parenchyma cells, number 1, number 2, number 3. If you see the size of the vacuole, same. Size of the cell, same. Okay, so when you do your drawing, your diagram should have such a huge vacuole. Okay, smaller cytoplasm, and cell wall need to be thin because it's only contain primary cell wall. This is the meaning the diagram should be technically correct. Okay, secondly, when we are drawing and labeling any diagram for bio, it will be always advisable for the students to use pencil. Okay, pencil, so that anything goes wrong, they can change the answer. Okay, thirdly, the lines. So biology drawing, the lines should be horizontal. As you can see here, are horizontal. Normally, if the lines are vertical like this, Okay, and then we go horizontal for labeling right and left. Okay, the last mistake students tend to do for the drawing is, okay, as you can see here, they will write cell wall and there will be a lines, but the line won't be exactly touching the cell wall. Okay, exactly won't be touching the structure, which is technically wrong. Okay, if you are labeling cell wall, okay, the line should be at the cell wall. Then only the labeling is correct. Okay, but students give least importance to all those details, make them easily lose marks, although the diagrams are exactly there in their books. Okay, so please take note, when you are labeling cytoplasm, make sure the line, okay, for cytoplasm is connected to the structure. Okay, don't stop here and telling this is cytoplasm. It doesn't make the correct statement here. Okay, now comes the most important keyword for my today's session. The most, okay, which is describe. Okay, many students have confusion. What can be different if the essay question is described and if the essay question is explained, right? Okay, why bio questions, essay questions are mostly described? Because bio per se, okay, involving processes such as photosynthesis, respiration, okay, osmosis, facilitated diffusion, okay, fertilization, homeostasis, like this. So what's going to happen is there will be a chemical reaction, okay, or mechanism of stomatal opening, closing. There are going to be changes in the structure or the processes, substrate converting into products, and some new substances will be released, and so on and so forth, like this. So that's the reason most of the times bio questions are described. But the describe per se itself, today in my session, I have 3 different types of describe essay question. Okay, let us go on the first type. This is a very common for P1 students. Very common. Okay, yeah? P1 students and P3 students, of course, you knows about it. Okay, describe the main stages of the Krebs cycle. 8 marks. Okay, the keyword is describe. Okay, what they have to describe? Main stages of the Krebs cycle. How many marks? 8 marks. So here, I'm not going to show you all the marking scheme for 8 marks. No point. Okay, what I'm going to tell you is the format of writing. Okay, for this question, the format of writing should be a paragraph. Okay, a paragraph. But what will happen is when the students write paragraph, wow, they will write such a huge paragraph, which means the paragraph will start from the beginning of the test pad to the end of the test pad. Only one paragraph for 8 marks. Students, please don't do so. Break into smaller paragraph. Have the habit of that. Okay, so you write in paragraph. Okay, now comes what is the difference? Okay, if the question is describe and explain. Example, step 1 causes changes to step 2. Okay, and then another problem students tend to do when the question is about Krebs cycle is students start to draw the diagram showing the Krebs cycle like this, assuming they can get 8 marks. 8 marks, right? Assuming by outlining this Krebs cycle diagram, the students can get 8 marks. Students, please take note, the question is described, okay, not outline. Okay, you are doing this nicely, you're basically wasting your time. No marks will be given. Okay, no marks will be given, but you can do this on a test pad as a draft. Okay, yeah, prepare the draft so that no need to write very detailed. Okay, so you just draw one circle. After that, start with step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Example. After that, write some key notes. Key notes that are going to help you to write your essay. Okay, so that you don't miss out any points because it's a series of steps. Step 1 to step 2, step 2 to 3, 4. So to prevent you are jumping from point 8, okay, so you start with the point 1, suddenly you are in point 3. Then you have to go back to point 2. To prevent that from happening, you roughly can draft this Krebs cycle. But again, you have to write in sentences if the question is described. Okay? So now comes the mistakes by students. Mistakes, huh? Okay. Although it's been highlighted when the teachers teach, but the students, by practice of learning, you can improve your mistakes, right? Okay. Now, the first mistakes, okay, for the Krebs cycle is the students did not use the correct terms. Okay, what they never used? Correct terms. Okay, to describe the reaction occurred. Okay, such as the term supposed to be oxidative decarboxylation. Okay, what is the term? Oxidative decarboxylation. But what happened to the students? Students will write oxidation and decarboxylation. Okay, or the students will write converted rather than writing oxidative decarboxylation. Okay, or isomerizes, or to oxidize, or dehydrogenation, or reduction. Okay, so you have to be very careful with all these terms. Okay, and as I told you, candidates or students simply use the term converted, formed, produced. Okay, for Krebs cycle, which is incomplete answers, which means you don't know the process occurring in each stages, right? Okay, now comes to another one more mistakes here. Students, okay, sometimes forgot to mention about NADH, FADH2, or ATP produced in each steps, such as one example here. Okay, so I'm starting my essay with each acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, now there is another issue talking about coenzyme A. Okay, students can write fully like this coenzyme A, but A must be uppercase. Okay? Whereas sometimes students tend to write short form CoA like this. Okay, can you see here CoA? But the problem with the students is the carbon here is supposed to be, C is supposed to be uppercase C. But what we will see in the student script is lowercase c. Okay, when you're writing fully, you write coenzyme A, no worries, but you're just making it short. Make sure the C here uppercase. Okay, produced by a link reaction combines with what? Oxaloacetate. How many carbon? 4 carbon molecule. To form what? Citrate. How many carbon? 6 carbon molecule. Okay, to write the sentence, if you have this draft with you, will be much more easier. That is my concern here, but you shouldn't take too long to do this draft. Okay. Then comes next step. Okay. Next step going to be oxidative decarboxylation. This is what I mean by the term. Okay, the term. You have to use correctly the term. Of each citrate occurs to form alpha ketoglutarate, carbon dioxide, and NADH. Okay, and then so on and so forth with the process. Okay, some more mistakes by students. These are some exercises from my students. Okay, yeah. As you know, Krebs cycle is a special term, right? Krebs cycle is a special term. So the K should be uppercase. Okay, yeah. As you can see, the K should be uppercase, correct. The students wrote uppercase K. But something here looks like apostrophe. Okay, so watch out. When you're writing Krebs cycle, please write as it is, K, uppercase K. Okay, now second mistake is here, acetyl-CoA, which I mentioned to you here. Okay, what the student did, acetyl correct, A correct, C is lowercase c. Lowercase c. So when you're doing short form like this, make sure it's an uppercase c. So technically very sad, whereby the whole thing is correct. Okay, every single detail of the students when they're writing for the steps are exactly correct. Just by some technical mistakes like this, okay, it become incorrect. So please pay more attention to the details like this. Okay, another one more mistake is FAD. Okay, FAD is correct, but the student wrote FAD plus. The plus comes from where? Confused, stressed, full with anxiety during exam. To prevent all this, please practice. Okay, whereas talking about NAD plus, the student missed the plus. All this, make sure you write correctly. Okay, these are my highlights for Krebs cycle. Okay, now this is a second type of question, still same describe, but this is a different way of describe. Okay, so how this as a question is different from the Krebs cycle? Okay, this question is describe the negative implications, okay, of human activities. So humans causing negative implication to biodiversity, okay, and to the environment. So my advice to you, before you're going to write this essay, okay, like this, like in the paragraph, the format is paragraph, no doubt about it. Okay, so if you see the student here, okay, what the student did, she split part 1, A1, in one paragraph, and then she split part 2 in a different paragraph. She didn't combine both into one paragraph because this is to the biodiversity. This is to the environment. So when you're writing your essay, you should have some sort of format. Okay, so sometimes, as I told you, during exam time, you can't think fast. Okay, so you don't know what to write. So to prevent this from happening, before you can able to write, okay, I will take my pencil and I will do a draft like this, a draft. Okay, before I'm going to write, I will do a draft, which means I will write the human activity and then the negative implication to biodiversity. And then human activity, negative implication to environment. Then only I will go into the sentences to make sure I have negative activity of human activity which causing negative implication to the biodiversity. Okay, now talking about the answer. Human activity correct, negative implication to biodiversity correct, then only the student will get 2 marks. 1 mark here, 1 mark here, 2 marks, right? Let's say the human activity is wrong. Rather than writing illegal hunting of wildlife, the student just say hunting of wildlife. Hunting, okay? Hunting of wildlife. So there is a lot of difference. You have to look into the essay question. They say negative implication, right? Okay, so illegal hunting, excessive logging. Okay, so another example, excessive use of pesticide. Okay, this is the one causing negative implication either to the biodiversity, to the environment. So I'm sure your school teachers would have highlighted with these keywords to you, right? So let's say you just write hunting of wildlife, and then you write causing extinction. That is not to the level of Form 6 answer. Extinction of what? What are you talking about? Okay, extinction of certain species or extinctions of flora and fauna. Please write fully in a complete sentence. Okay, so if technically here wrong, automatically this is wrong. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so my whole session today, okay, to expose you is practice writing essay with the correct format, right? So the first activity is excessive logging. So negative implication to the biodiversity, loss of habitat, okay, for organism, which can lead to what? Extinction of flora and fauna. This is a good answer. Okay, talking about biodiversity. Now talking about human activity. Okay, let's say excessive logging. Excessive logging also, human activity. But what is the implication to the environment? Causes an imbalance in the carbon dioxide and oxygen levels in the air. So you should know clearly what are the negative implications to biodiversity and to the environment. It's not the same. Okay, then you write in table form. Okay, so I'm done with this describe. Now come to the last type of question, essay question, still describe. Okay, this kind of questions is a trap for you if you're not really ready to write. Okay, what I mean is a trap for you. Yeah, this is a part of essay question A. Several stages are involved in the embryonic development of animals, okay, prior to its fetal formation. This is Penggal 2. So the question says, the keyword here is describe. Main stages of the embryonic development. Main stages, something similar to Krebs cycle. Correct? Main stages. But here, the stages involved are cleavage, gastrulation, and organogenesis. Let's say you're starting with the first stage. You forgot to write the stage, cleavage. But you're explaining. Very well, you explain about what happened during cleavage. Mitosis occurred, the number of cells are increased to form a ball, okay? But the size is not increasing, so much you're writing. The whole thing is not taken into consideration. Why? Explanation without mentioning the stages. You never mention about the stage, okay? Will not acceptable because the description were dependent on the stage. Which means you want to explain about gastrulation, you have to state the stage first. Then only you describe what happened during gastrulation. Okay, so that's why practice writing essay is a very important task you have to do every day. Okay, now comes the last keyword. Okay, yeah, the last keyword is explain. Okay, explain is so much so on reason, explain how, correct? So here for bio, something very common is explain the structure, okay, of starch and cellulose in relation to their functions. So basically the students have to know structure and functions for starch and cellulose. Okay, so let's talk about the format. Okay, format per se is supposed to be in paragraph. Okay, how I put it into paragraph for 8 marks? I started with starch. Starch what? S means structure. Okay, I started with starch structure. After I'm done with the starch structure, I break into the next paragraph. Students, please take note. Don't write everything crammed into one paragraph. It is going to be difficult for those who are going to mark your paper. Okay, so you split the structure here. After then, you talk about the functions. So I write the function in another one more paragraph. Then comes another one more paragraph for cellulose structure. Okay, structure of cellulose, I separated into another paragraph. And finally comes the functions of cellulose into another paragraph. Okay, now talking about the details. Okay, talking about the structure of starch. First of all, you have to mention starch is a polysaccharide. All of you know. Made up of what? Hundreds of repeating unit of what glucose? Alpha glucose. Molecule and link by what? And then you know how many types of starch molecules are there. Amylose, and what is the structure? Amylopectin, what is the structure? Correct? Okay. And then what are the functions of starch based on their structure? So if you've done the structure correctly, you can able to write the functions. Okay. Same goes to cellulose. You can able to write the structure well. You able to write the functions, and all these are from your books, right? Okay. So you have to get the information correctly and practice writing. Okay. Now comes another questions regarding explain. Okay. Explain the roles. Okay. Roles means something to do with function. So the keywords might change slightly. Functions. Now the functions replace with roles. Still same. Explain the roles of human placenta. Roles and functions are the same. Okay. In the fetal development, which are related to the structure. Again, same like this. You have to know the structure, you have to know the functions. Okay. Now comes to my last agenda. Okay, my last agenda is a general mistakes in essay questions. Okay, not depending on any keywords. Okay, as we know for Form 6 level, okay, wrong spelling is not accepted. So because of the pre-university level, the students supposed to spell the word correctly. Sometimes confusion occurs among students. It's very common. Okay, they tend to write fast, they make mistakes. So please double check. Double check. Okay, certain words like this. Arteriosclerosis. Okay, and atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis. Okay, sometimes incomplete answer. Wrong spelling is one problem. Incomplete answer. Okay, what they mean by incomplete answer? Okay, the student says hardening of artery. Okay, missing what? Hardening of artery and loss elasticity. Okay, this is mean incomplete answer. Okay, did not use the correct terms in explaining the answer. One example is body fluid, which is not correct, but the correct one is interstitial fluid. Okay, now comes to the next topic regarding biodiversity for P3 students. Okay, when you're writing phylum, okay, phylum, you should know when you're writing phylum, such an example, Bryophyta, Felicinophyta, Coniferophyta, the first letter here should be uppercase. Please remember that phylum should be written in uppercase. Okay. Now comes, this is a never-ending problem. Never-ending. Okay. From my teaching experience for the past 20 years, never-ending problem is writing scientific name. Writing. Okay, students, you should know for essay questions, you're given a test pad to write answer. You're not going to type. You're going to write your answer. Okay, so when you're writing your answer, okay, scientific name, using your handwriting, how you're supposed to do. Okay, now there are 3 examples here. A and B correct, C wrong. Okay, let me start with the first one, A. Any scientific name per se have 2 words. How many words? 2 words. The first word is the genus name. Genus name, and the first letter should be uppercase. Right? In example, Spartina is the genus name and S is uppercase. Correct. And second word is the species name. Species. Okay? Townsendi is a species. Okay, what is Patina townsendi? A type of grass, a cord grass. Okay, so when you're writing this for your essay, handwritten, what you should do as uppercase because it's a genus name, and you underline Patina separately, leave space here, make sure there is a space, space, townsendi separately. Correct. This is the way to write scientific name in handwritten. Okay, and sometimes, okay, the species name is not mentioned. Species name is not mentioned. You only know the genus name, like amoeba, like paramecium, euglena, chlamydomonas. Okay, so how to go about it? So you write the genus name as usual. The first letter should be uppercase. You underline, give a space. SP stand for species. And then, since you're doing short form, okay, you add a full stop. Because it's a short form, don't underline SP dot because it's not a scientific name. Okay, it's referring to species. Okay, then comes the wrong way of writing. This is wrong. C is wrong. Why wrong? You underline the two words together. Genus and species, you underline together. Okay, so students, A is the correct way of writing. Okay, B, if you don't know the species name, you only have the genus name. Underline only the genus. Okay, now comes the end of my session. Okay, I've prepared the link for you, but you're only allowed to use MOE Gmail, okay, to answer a short quiz regarding about my presentation. Okay, and then I hope all of you would have been enjoyed my session today. And comes finally my thank you. Okay, my sincere thank you to PPD Petaling Utama to give this opportunity for me, okay, to share a few information regarding writing essay with the students. Okay, Pengetua Kolej Tingkatan 6 Petaling Jaya, okay, Tuan Haji Gumiat bin Kamdi, Penolong Kanan Puan Tan Sutiam. Okay, thanks to my family who give so much of support preparing this, okay, fellow teachers, and especially the students. So I was so glad and appreciative that the students, teachers from all the way Sarawak and Sabah, who could ask the students to join this session. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's about it for my session today.
Baik, terima kasih Cikgu Molly atas perkongsian ilmu untuk mata pelajaran biologi. Jadi sepanjang sesi tadi kita lihat ada beberapa juga soalan yang ditanya. Jadi saya minta Cikgu Alex untuk kemukakan, jika boleh kemukakan untuk kita kongsikan bersama. Okey. Cikgu Molly, di situ ada soalan,
Okay.
yang Cikgu Molly boleh terus
Respon ya.
kemukakan jawapan ataupun respon daripada soalan-soalan yang ditanya. Silakan Cikgu Molly.
Okay, this is student, is it? Ko Cairo, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Since you mentioned teacher, so you said, what if I write is converted to by oxidative decarboxylation? Okay, first of all, the sentence is incomplete for me to judge whether your sentence is correct or wrong, because here are dot, dot, dot here also dot, dot, dot here. Okay. With this incomplete sentence, if you see here, if I write what here, and then converted to what here, okay, and then by oxidative decarboxylation, it's a little bit tricky for me to say yes or no until unless, okay, as I showed my script just now, you can come up with a complete sentence. I can advise to you whether this oxidative decarboxylation, when you use the word converted is acceptable or not acceptable. Okay, but looks like here converted. Okay, when they use the term converted, okay, if the process is decarboxylation, okay, removal of carbon, okay, carbon dioxide from the substrate, correct? So in converted is a little bit out. Okay, go. I hope I would have answered your question, but no worries. You can at my feedback, you can write the full sentences. I can help you, okay, to check and reply to you. Thank you very much. Go.
Okay, next. Yeah.
Okay, can we write Rubisco instead of full term? Okay, this is for photosynthesis chapter, right? First of all, what is the question? Where is the question? If you see here, all my slide, first thing I explain to you is my question. Okay, what is the question? Then I said how to answer. All of a sudden, here comes Rubisco instead of full item. I don't have the question. Without the question, it's difficult for me to say yes or no until unless, okay, at my feedback, you can type the question, okay, and then I can say this is accepted or not accepted. Because there are many keywords here, Amanda. Okay, as you know, there are many keywords, right? So whether the question is describe or explain or discuss, okay, that is the problem there with the keywords. Okay, Amanda, thank you.
Okay. Next.
Okay, teacher, this is Tin Cheng. Okay, teacher, is it more advisable to write essay in paragraph? Some teachers suggested us to write in point, but in full sentences. Okay, this is a very good question. Okay, thank you very much. I didn't get your name, but I just address you as Tin. You don't mind, I guess so, Tin. Okay, Tin, for your information, we are at pre-university level. And for your information, STPM is world-recognized exam. Why it is world-recognized? There is a standard, okay? There is a certain standard, okay, for it until it is been recognized throughout the world. So when you're writing essay, it should be in essay form. It should be in paragraph. It should be in short paragraph. Okay, that I would say. The point form is for the marking scheme. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. It's a marking scheme. Okay, that is the difference between the marking scheme and the essay question. Okay, the meaning of essay itself, it should be in paragraph. Okay, provided only for differences. Only for differences, students are allowed to write in table form with the complete sentences. Okay, I hope I would have answered your question. Thank you very much.
Ada lagi soalan?
Okay, this is Amanda. Is that all enzymes involved in Krebs cycle must memorized? Okay, Amanda, really no need. Okay, not really, until unless they specifically mention in the question to include enzymes, you include. No means the process is important, which means the substrate, okay, and the product, what are released, what are produced, that is more important compared to the enzymes. Okay, but if the process is dehydrogenation, you should know the enzyme involved is what, right? If the process is isomerization, and then you should know what is the name of the enzyme, Amanda. Not really, okay, because too many information. Until unless the essay questions want you to remember the enzymes. But for structure, you have to know the enzymes. Okay, structure questions and objective questions, you have to know the enzyme. Technically, you're going to learn, but only whether you have the time to write or not. If you have the time, you write. No means it's okay. Thanks, Amanda. Okay, this Tivya Tarshini. Okay, teacher, can we write glucose 6-phosphate rearrange to fructose 6-phosphate? Yes, correct. This is correct because it's an isomerization, it's a rearranged, correct. Okay, Divya Shri, thank you. This is correct. Okay, Amanda, for example, state the enzyme involved in carbon fixation. So can I just answer Rubisco instead ribulose biphosphate carboxylase? Okay, I like the emoji. Looks like Amanda, you're very good students and hoping all the best for you in STPM. Okay, if you know the full name, ribulose biphosphate carboxylase, you're right. If you really know the full name, okay, ribulose biphosphate carboxylase. Let's say you are not very sure with the spelling. Okay, spelling mistake here, then no marks. So then you write Rubisco. Okay, that's my advice to you, Amanda. Thank you. Okay, this is Farid. Okay, Farid, what if students write glucose is converted to glucose 1-phosphate through phosphorylation? Okay, Farid. Okay, this is not the correct terms here. Okay, you should say glucose is phosphorylated. Okay, Farid, what you should say? Glucose is phosphorylated because addition of phosphate to glucose make it more reactive, become glucose 1-phosphate or glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, yeah? The term you're supposed to use here is not converted, phosphorylated is the correct thing here. Farid, thank you. Okay, Kay. Hi, Kay. Teacher, how much time is advisable to spend in objective and structure so that we got enough time for essay? Okay, Cikgu Zaini, do I have more time? Or I'm supposed to go very fast?
Ya, masa boleh ni lagi banyak lagi masa.
Okay, thank
Okey,
you.
silakan
Yeah,
teruskan.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, students, this is a little bit like not cheating, but I will technically ask my students because I want the best for the students, right? So when you're in exam hall, K Jingguna, so you're given your exam paper, right? And then the ketua pengawas say, sila semak kertas peperiksaan supaya mengandungi semua halaman bercetak. Okay, they will ask you to check. So that time, I will advise my student to check slowly. Don't check fast. Open the page slowly, Junyun. And then when you're opening slowly, focus at essay and structure. Read the question. Like you are doing one drama to the pengawas telling that you are checking the page, but actually you're reading the question. Nothing wrong, you're not cheating anything, but you're taking some time, okay, telling your brain what are the essay questions on the paper and what are the structure came out. So when you send this information to the neurons in your brain started to analyze, ingest, digest, assimilate, and then you will take a shorter time to answer. Okay, so talking about, back to your question here. How much time is advisable to spend in objective and structure? Okay, my previous experience, from my previous experience with the students who are really hardworking students, not smart. I'm not talking about smart or intelligence, but hardworking students. Hardworking students for P1, they can get 14/15, correct for objective. Okay, normally can get what? 14/15. So, bio questions means whether you know or you don't know. And objective questions, basically there are formats again, which means they give you 2 correct answers, 2 wrong answers, if there are a lot of possibilities there. So normally you can finish it fast because compared to chemistry, physics, here doesn't involve any calculation. No calculation here. So you can basically finish fast, okay? And it depends on how good is your revision. If your revision is really good, okay, no problem with objective. You can take less than 15 minutes or 15 minutes is more than enough. Okay, coming to structure. Okay, structure depends on what structure, what subchapter, what subtopics, whether you are ready for it or you're not ready for it. Some students, they like graph questions, like enzyme. Okay, you have graph. They're finding it very fast, they can able to answer because it's graph. They are good in analyzing graph. Whereas some students, they doesn't like graph students. graph questions because they don't know how to read a graph, correct? So STPM structured questions are short answers. Okay, yeah? The difference between A-level bio and STPM bio questions are short. So we can finish it fast. It won't take more than, I would say, so objective and structure itself, you can spend around 40 minutes. Okay. Now, next question, Amanda. Teacher, may I know which sequence is correct in cloning, either screening first or amplification? Thanks. Okay. This question, Amanda. Okay. First of all, I don't get the question yet. You never write the question. What is the question is about? What you tend to write? Okay. Without the essay question here, girl, it's difficult for me to tell you, okay, what you're supposed to write here. Can or not? If you at least put it the essay question, and then I can write. But basically, okay, coming to cloning, it is a series of steps. Yes or no? Okay. Whether you are talking about, you have to do screening and then you have to write amplification. Okay. Normally we write screening and then we write amplification. Amanda, thanks.
Ada beberapa soalan lagi, Cikgu Molly. Oh, makin banyak soalan. Oh, maksudnya ada respon daripada pelajar-pelajar kita ya berkenaan dengan biologi ni. Kita lihat banyak ada beberapa. Kita tunggu. Okey.
Okay.
Itu
okay,
saya paste saja tu.
Okay. Thank you, Cikgu Zaini. Okay. We need to break the essay in small paragraph. Okay, Zaini. Okay, so what we have to think now is, okay, as you know, STPM teachers are mostly as old as me. There are a lot of gray hairs that you can see. We are not young, we are old, and I'm wearing spectacles. Without my spectacles, I can't see anything. So when you write a huge paragraph there with tiny writings, we tend to overlook at the points. We miss the points. So to prevent that, the teachers sometimes can't see the points clearly. So if you write in a small paragraph, you break into small paragraph rather than writing one lengthy paragraph, it's going to be easy for the teachers to see the points so that the teacher don't miss any points, and for the students to check the points. Okay, thank you, Zaini. Peggy, teacher, any good idea to remember all the cycle? I'm so blur and easily mix it. So in that case, I should ask PPD to give me another opportunity so that I can do another video to remember all the cycle, right? There are basically a lot of techniques, okay? Peggy, there are a lot of techniques, but unfortunately, my session today is only about one, okay? Actually, if in future I can able to share, Peggy, okay, probably you can, I will look into you and then I can help you to share, okay, personally how to remember the cycle. There is a lot of ways. Okay, Peggy? So you come back to me after that. Thank you. Okay, is for essay question, it is advisable to sketch the point before writing. Okay, what I told you in my presentation today, Roby, yes, draft your points. Draft, okay? If you see there, before writing, describe the implication of human activity to the biodiversity, what I will ask my students is draft in the form of table or in the form of sentences, okay? Crab cycle, write the steps to the simplified way that you can use it to write the essay so that you don't miss out any points. Roby, that is the good way. Okay, thank you, Roby. Okay, teacher, can I have your email so that I can ask question later? Okay, Ken, shouldn't be a problem. Okay, you can ask me question, Roby, no worries. Okay, that's about it.
Okay, so Cikgu Molly, email Cikgu Molly boleh nyatakan dalam ruangan chat mungkin selepas ini.
Okay. Can?
Okey, nanti pelajar-pelajar yang perlukan email, nanti Cikgu Molly akan letak dalam ruangan chat, dan pelajar-pelajar boleh bertanyakan terus soalan-soalan kepada Cikgu Molly. So, jadi setakat ini masih ada soalan lagi tak? Yang kita lihat.
So, saya dah send Cikgu Zaini, email saya ya, dekat chat.
Okey. Alright. Okey, kita akan paparkan email Cikgu Molly pada ruangan chat, dan pelajar-pelajar boleh dapatkan email tersebut. Ya, okey, melalui saluran wasilah minda tu. Okey, itu ada email Cikgu Molly, betul ?
Betul.
Okey. So, ada lagi soalan tak yang kita temui dalam ni ruangan chat? Cikgu Alex boleh paparkan soalan seterusnya?
Okay, I have a question, Thaqif. Is the role and function is the same? Okay, so example Thaqif. So they will ask, what are the functions of placenta? Okay, just now I showed one question, right? What are the functions of placenta? Okay, another way the question can be asked is, what are the main role of placenta? Okay, so if the question say main role or the question say functions, you're still going to write the functions of placenta. Okay, it is similar, role and functions. Okay, thank you, Thaqif. Ming Chung. Hi, Ming Chung. Teacher, is there any listings for terms to be abbreviated? Okay, is there, Ming Chung, example, as we know, all the schools in Malaysia, we are using a Sasbari book, okay, which is a good book, I would say. At the Sasbari book, at page, the last page, let me see whether I can figure it now. Yeah. Page 308, if you are, I'm not sure whether you're P1 students or P3 students. Okay, if let's say you're P1 students, Ming Chung, at page 308 of Sasbari book, okay, you can see some abbreviated terms, and even some books do have. Okay, you can Google and figure out that you can use. Okay, Ming Chung, I hope I would have answered your question. Thank you. Robbie, I can tell that you are such an inspiring teacher. Thanks a million. Oh, Robbie, you made my day. You made my day. Thank you very much. Okay, talking about teaching, none of the younger generation wants to become a teacher. Betul tak, Cikgu Zaini?
Betul.
None of the younger generation wants to become a teacher. It's not an easy task because it needs a lot of motivation. Okay, a lot of motivation, especially teaching Form 6 is not a joke. But what inspires me are my students, Robbie. Okay, what inspires me are the students. All the students that I have at my college. And starting from my admin, my pengetua, to my PK1, to my fellow friends, they are the most inspiring persons to make me as an inspiring teacher. Thank you very much, Robbie.
Okay. Kita ada satu lagi soalan, agak panjang soalan ini.
Okay, Priyanka. If describe and state is the same, because sometimes when I see the past year question, I felt like are the same. No, Priyanka. State means straight to the point. Okay, state means straight to the point. Example, which I showed you in my slide, the differences between DNA and RNA. If the question is state, you straight away can say the pentose sugar in DNA is deoxyribose, whereas the pentose sugar in RNA is ribose. That is the meaning of state. Straight to the point, no explanation. Another example for state is, Priyanka, state where does link reaction occurs. Okay, answer, straight away you can say matrix of mitochondria. Answer is matrix of mitochondria, means specifically you have to go to the place where there's a link reaction occur. No explanation. But describe is not like that. Describe, you need detailed information. What is the substrate? What is the product? What is the process? What is being used? What is being produced? That is described. Changes. Example, when stomata opens, how it opens, what induced the stomata to open. Okay, so many processes involved there. Okay, not only one. State is just to the point. Okay, that's all, Priyanka. Okay,
Okay, ada soalan lagi.
Okay, teacher, another question here. Is there any book used for answer reference by MPF which I can get? Sure, Ming Chung. If you go to MPM website, the books recommended there, you can get it from Shopee. You even can get it, you no need to buy basically Ming Chung. Your school library, okay, normally all the schools in Malaysia, we are blessed to be in this country because in Malaysia, all the schools have library and the library teachers been given allocation to buy books, and we have ample of books in the library which are recommended by MPM. Probably, I'm not sure, Ming Chung, you're from which state, so that you don't have, but you can come and borrow from my college if you want, Ming Chung. We have a lot. Okay, we have a lot of books. Okay, yeah? So you can get it from library or public library, so you don't need to spend money to buy. I would advise you. And also the online notes, you can get it. Okay? Thank you, Ming Chung. Teacher, when drawing diagram, how in detail should we draw them? Like for example, when drawing animal cells, do we draw every organelles? Okay, Afrin, example I give you, I think you are P1 student. For P1 student, drawing of plasma membrane. Remember phospholipid bilayer? Okay, when you draw a plasma membrane, phospholipid bilayer, okay, the question will ask you to draw fluid mosaic model. That is our syllabus, right? Fluid mosaic model. So afraid you later can refer to your book for the structure of fluid mosaic model. Okay, what is the problem with the students sometimes is labeling goes incorrect. Okay, yeah? Labeling goes means they can able to draw the diagram. Okay, able to draw the diagram, but the labeling goes incorrect. Example, glycoprotein. Okay, labeling glycoprotein, the students only will label the chain, glycogen chain. They forgot the protein below there. So in your question here, explain when drawing animal cell. Okay, do we draw every organelle? Okay, depends on the question. If the question wants you to draw ultrastructure of animal cell, what is the question, Afrin? Ultrastructure of animal cell. Then you have to draw every single organelle. Means ultrastructure means what you can see under the electron microscope. That is from 6th level. Okay, the diagram that you have. It depends on the question. Normally from 6th question, they will ask you ultrastructure that you have to draw the main organelles. Okay, Afrin, thank you. Kesha, any online site where we can obtain this note from teacher? I don't mind sharing. Okay, I don't mind share the notes, Kesha. Okay, knowledge is to be shared, nothing to keep it to myself. Okay, I don't mind, Kesha. So if you want any other notes, also I don't mind sharing with you. Okay. Okay.
Okey, okey, banyak, begitu banyak lagi, sebenarnya masih banyak lagi soalan-soalan yang telah kita terima dalam ruangan chat. Jadi kita tengok maklum balas daripada pelajar-pelajar cukup bagus pada petang ini. Namun kita kesuntukan masa, mungkin kita akan boleh paparkan satu soalan sahaja lagi yang akan dipilih dan Cikgu Mulia akan jawab. Dan selepas ini kita akan sambung untuk line Siri pula. Okey, jadi ada apa lagi soalan yang kita akan kemukakan, Cikgu Alex? Ya, itu dia.
Okay, hi teacher. You mentioned label diagram just now and it is allocated 1 mark. How many structures that I have to label to get 1 marks? Okay, girl, it depends on the question. Okay, the question which I shared just now is about parenchyma tissue, right? For the particular question, 3 marks are given for the label diagram and 2 functions. Okay, explaining 2 functions. So that's why the labeling diagram goes drawing and labeling only 1 mark. To tell you the truth, Esther, to tell you the truth, for STPM, labeling diagrams is not many marks. Not many marks. Okay, the reason is at Form 6 level, you must be able to write sentences in detail. Okay, so labeling diagrams, the words come to words, drawing and labeling will be 3 marks maximum, not more than that. Okay?
Okey. Nampaknya itu merupakan soalan terakhir yang kita boleh kemukakan kepada Cikgu Molly. Mungkin kita akan terima lebih banyak lagi soalan-soalan selepas ini dalam ruangan chat dan pelajar-pelajar boleh bertanya terus kepada Cikgu Molly. Baik, respon ataupun maklum balas yang kita terima daripada ruangan chat ini mengatakan supaya lebih banyak program-program yang sebelum ini akan ditampilkan pada masa-masa akan datang. Jadi insyaAllah untuk PPD Petaling Utama sebenarnya kami sedang merangka ataupun sudah pun ada perancangan untuk 4 lagi mata pelajaran iaitu Bahasa Melayu, Pengajian Am, Muet dan satu lagi mata pelajaran yang telah kita rancang. Namun insyaAllah subjek-subjek ini akan kita keudarakan pada bulan Januari tahun hadapan. Sebab hari ini merupakan hari terakhir sesi persekolahan kita pada tahun 2020. Jadi kita melabuhkan tirai untuk siri Pecutan STPM 2020 pada hari ini dan ini adalah subjek ataupun mata pelajaran yang ketiga yang sempat kita buat untuk siri Pecutan STPM 2020. Jadi terima kasih banyak-banyak kepada Cikgu Molly atas sesi perkongsian yang telah diberikan. Sesi Q&A pun banyak dan respon daripada pelajar-pelajar pun kita tengok aktif. Baik, jadi sebagai mengakhiri kita punya slot pada petang ini, sekali lagi saya mewakili pihak PPD Petaling Utama iaitu Sektor Pembelajaran ingin merakamkan ucapan jutaan terima kasih kepada Cikgu Molly, kepada pihak sekolah Kolej Tingkatan 6 Petaling Jaya, terutamanya Tuan Pengetua kita iaitu Tuan Haji Gumiat bin Kamdi dan juga penolong kanan iaitu Puan Tam Sutiam kerana membenarkan ataupun memberi keizinan Cikgu Molly bersiaran pada petang ini untuk membantu pelajar-pelajar kita terutamanya untuk menghadapi peperiksaan STPM kelak. So, jadi saya fikir itu sahaja untuk kali ini dan jangan lupa untuk mendapatkan sijil elektronik, pelajar-pelajar haruslah melengkapkan Google Form yang mana link telah pun kita berikan mungkin dalam 20 minit tadi. Dan saya akan tutup link tersebut, pengisian borang tersebut mungkin dalam 20 minit selepas tamatnya kita punya slot ini. Okay? So jangan lupa isikan alamat email yang betul dan maklumat yang tepat. Dan terima kasih kepada semua yang terlibat, yang turut serta dalam kita punya program pada petang ini. Saya lihat penyertaan menyeluruh dari seluruh negeri. Sabah ada, Penang ada, Terengganu, Johor, Melaka dan Sarawak. Jadi saya harap perkongsian ilmu ini dapat dikongsikan untuk semua pelajar dan pelajar-pelajar juga boleh menyaksikan siaran untuk siri Pecutan ini dalam saluran YouTube melalui saluran wasilah minda SPB Petaling Utama. Jadi saya fikir itu saja. Jadi saya akhiri slot kita pada petang ini dengan ucapan terima kasih. Dan sekian, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.